Hello, I'm an American lawyer. I have lived in Moscow since 2015. I returned back to America and then came back in 2018. I want to tell you about my unfortunate experience with Tatiana and Mamunul Haque. These people are con men. They will not pay on their contracts. They are not good people. They claim to be Muslims and that they care about people. They are con men. They are scam artists. They are white-collar criminals. They are terrible human beings. I'm going to explain to you my experience. Please avoid them. Do not invest in their company. Dobremir24.ru, Mamunul Hak, and Tatiana Haque. I first met the Hawks through Amin Noor. He's a Bangladeshi. He's a student that is studying engineering, and I needed a translator, and so he helped me translate. He said that he was working with Dobremir24, and he said that he is interested in me being on television. He told me, he lied to me. He said that the company was not owned by Mamul. It actually is owned by Mamul. I found the information on it. But I started to get a friendship with Amin. It was clear that with Amin, he had some major mental issues. He had lost his father to recently. His father had died. And then he also had he had been beaten very severely by some illegal immigrants that later went to jail, and he thought he was going to die. And I felt really sorry for him. Amin was very religious. He would always talk about fasting and stuff like that. And he said, oh, you know, I'm such a good person, and he came across as like this very devout Muslim. And I've had a lot of Muslim friends, and Amin is a bad example of a Muslim. He's a liar, and he can't be trusted, and I'll explain a little bit more why. So what happened was that Amin, he introduced me to Dobremir24 and to Tatiana Haque and Mamunul Hak. Amin Noor was working illegally as a student against his student visa. He was working illegally for Dobremir24. He told me that Mamunul Hak was greedy, that he didn't pay very well, and that he was a bad boss. And I felt sorry for him. I would help him with his teeth. I would assist him in so many different ways. And I knew that he had been almost beaten to death and almost killed. And I told him, Amin, please go to Mr. Hawk, Mamunul Hak, and ask him if he could help you, because you need a patron. You need somebody to watch over you. And so that's what he did. And then he got busy with his schoolwork, and he came back and later, and he had a Sri Lankan that he said would help me. And come to find out, the entire time, Amin Noor and the Sri Lankan were spying and working for Mamunul Hak the entire time. And as soon as I started to invest money, they were spying on me. And I got this from the Sri Lankan's telephone, the messages that I will show later. And so he says, oh, you know, you should invest, and you know, and Mamunul Hak, he's very wealthy, and he's a very good person. So Mamunul Hak and Tatiana Haque, they act like they're good Muslims, and that they have this charity, and that they are very religious. And I've had a lot of Muslim friends, and they're good religious people. And Amin Noor and Tatiana Haque and Mamunul Hak are very bad examples of Muslims. They're con men, and they are scam artists. So he introduces me to Mamunul Hak. I take Mamunul Hak, I pay for it. I take him to the British ambassador's house. I pay for him to go to the British ambassador's house, and there's this big picnic afterwards, this big meal. Mamul Haq explains that a lot of his money is basically going into shell companies. He takes the money and then he puts it in penny stocks and unstable stocks, and that's where he invests his money. And we went to this ambassador's house. We also went to the it's a large dome over right next to the first channel, and it's this big tower, and I paid for that. We had dinner there, and I really tried to build a relationship with them. I went to Dobry Mir for one of their religious holidays, the Bangladeshi holidays, and we ate together. And I thought, because of Amin Noor, because I'd helped him so much, he said that I was my best friend, that I felt like I could trust Mamul Haq. And I put more trust in Amin Noor and Mamul Haq than I ever have in any other person outside of my family. And they betrayed me. They are con men. So what happens is I sign a contract. On August 18th, 2019, I sign a contract with Mamul Haq. He says that it's a perfect contract, that he looked it over with his lawyers, that everything's fine. Now, I went to another lawyer, a friend of mine, and he said, don't sign this contract. And I had another friend, too, that said, I'm kind of worried about this contract. But I said, you know what? I need to invest my money. I really want to invest my money in Russia. I trust Amin Noor, and these people seem like good people. They seem like devout Muslims. I've had Muslim friends before. So I signed the contract for $10,000. This is the first contract. Okay? I later go to another lawyer. The other lawyer says this is a bad contract. And what happens is that I decide to invest again, because again, these people seem like good people. They're paying me on time. And so what happens is, and then Mamul Haq explains that his fat wife, Tatiana Haq, is from Rostov. She has a shoe factory, and they just seem like very stable and good people. And so on December 1st, 2019, I sign a second contract with Tatiana. We go to the bank. I pay for everything. I pay for the to get it certified. I pay to go to the bank. Everything I pay for, and so the contract's fine. Everything is being paid. Again, this is December 1st, 2019. Then I do a third contract, because they're paying religiously. They're paying very well, and the interest is very good, and I'm living basically off of these contracts. And so I signed a third contract in February of 15th of 2020. Well, what happens is that COVID-19 comes. So COVID-19 comes, and on June of 2020, the payments are becoming, he's always late. They're always late paying me, but they pay me. But in June of 2020, Mamul starts making excuses. He says, I can't pay right now. And then he starts lying over and over again on Facebook Messenger. That's what he uses to communicate with his investors, his Facebook Messenger. And he starts lying to me. He says, I'm going to pay you in a couple of days. I'm just going to get enough money. I'll pay you. And he's putting me off, and he's lying to me. And he lies to me so many times that he's going to pay me. So what happens is that I say, you know what, enough. We have a legal contract. I'm going to sue you. And while I'm waiting to sue you, I'm going to expose you as a con man and as a liar. And that's exactly what I do. And that's why I created TatianaHawk.com. That's why I created DobryMir24.com. And that's why I created all these web pages and Facebook pages to warn people that these people are con men. if you know anything about Mamunul Hak and Tatiana Hak, they have all of these different projects, all these different schemes. Like there's Dobre Mir, Taxi with Mamunul Hak. They have a television studio. The thing with Mamunul Hak, which I found really funny, and which my lawyer commented on, was how bad he was at math. He supposedly is this huge and big and important businessman, but he can't even calculate math, and he wasn't very good at math. But again, I trusted him. I felt like Amin Noor was a good man, a man that believed in Allah, a man that believed in God, and I felt like I had a good relationship with these three, with Tatiana. And so what happens is that I get a lawyer. So on March 10th of 2020, I meet with Mamunul Hak and Tatiana Hak from Mustaf. And all that Tatiana Hak can say is how she's so hurt about her reputation. She's a narcissist. I have never met somebody that's so focused on herself. And Fat Tatiana is, again, a con man. She was talking about how terrible things were with her. It clearly wasn't somebody that cared about other people. All she cared about was herself and about how I had hurt her reputation. So we met on March 10th of 2021, and we had an agreement, basically. And the agreement was this, is that I would stop advertising, and then they would start paying again on June of 2021. And by this time it had been 10 months, and they made this agreement without my consent. And I says, no, you're going to start paying me immediately, or I'm not there. There's no agreement. And they also had a Sri Lankan there who had stolen my stuff, and they had told him to steal my stuff, and so therefore they're thieves. And I basically says, no, we're not going to do this. And so what happened is that, and I have this all on tape, on audio tape, they got really, they basically says, okay, we're going to try to sue you. We're going to try to get you for defamation. And they've actually filed, Mamul and Tatiana Hak have actually filed something near their home in the north of Moscow against me. They've been trying to get me for defamation. They've been trying to basically file criminal charges against me because I want my money from a legal contract that they signed. And then also Mamunul Hak, he recently, in April, he told me that if I don't stop, then he's going to start advertising about me on Dobre Mir 24. He's going to publicize about me because I want my money back. These people are scam artists. Amin Noor is a scam artist. He's a cheat. He pays people to do his engineering. He is illegally working for Mamunul Noor. Tatiana Hak is a typical Russian business person. She is ruthless. She cannot be trusted, and she will only pay on the contract if it's convenient to her. Here is her mother right here. Here's her with her mother on a Facebook page. And here is her with her father, also from Facebook. These people claim to be religious, but Fat Tatiana, Tatiana is the one that runs everything. She's the one that is in control. Fat Tatiana, her Bangladeshi husband, Mamunul Hak, and Amin Noor are scam artists. Avoid them at all costs. They will not pay on their contracts. And that's what they did with me. They said that I was a small investor, and I feel so sorry for the people that have invested more money in them. Again, avoid them.